What's going on, beautiful people? I am Wesley from A Connection TV here on YouTube, the one place on the World Wide Web where we actually adopt similar connections to spot our differences. And welcome to my channel. If this is your first time seeing me, definitely follow me on my social media, Instagram and Twitter at A Connection TV. I am going to be talking about Big Brother episode 28, double eviction episode. Yeah, I also want to say, if you are not a subscriber of my online streaming platform, watchactv.com, I would really appreciate it if you become a subscriber. YouTube is basically canceling this channel, and I don't know how many legs we have to stand on. So everything that I produce will most likely make it to Watch ACTV, depending on how long this YouTube thing lasts. So yeah, shout out to the OG creators on YouTube that are still kicking and that are no longer on YouTube for being booted off. Anyways, I want to talk about my 10 points of discussion for this particular episode, starting with number 1. Terrence tells Julie he wishes Taylor comes to jury after him, which is why he's there now. I feel like if Terrence should have been mad at anyone, it should have been Daniel. If Terrence should have been mad at anyone, it should have been Michael. If Terrence should have been mad at anyone, it should have been anyone else but Taylor. For whatever reason, they did not click at all. But unlike Taylor, Terrence made it his mission to blatantly outright talk badly about this woman every shot that he got. And it was very interesting watching some of the clips of them like corroborating or at least communicating, hanging out by themselves. And I was like, wow, Taylor, you really have to endure a lot trying to even appease this man. There have been so many times when Taylor tried to get in his good graces and cared about him, but it had gotten to a point where she found out everything and what he'd been trying to do. But for her to still be able to jive with this guy after knowing everything, like the moment that they had when they were talking about the Zing bot situation, and you know, they had, the producer said Zing, I was like, wow. And they were like they were having a good time in that moment. I was like, Taylor, you're good. I would not be able to do that. I think I would have a difficult time with being able to do that. And the fact that he still, even when he was out, wanted Taylor to come right after him. That whole spiel about him, I'll get there. Number 2, Terrence pulled the black card to get Monty and Taylor on his side. I don't know. I just had a difficult time believing him, and as did Taylor. But like the last ditch effort to try to get votes was to utilize your race when all season you had no care about any of that at all, up until the point where your number 1, 2, 3, or 4 was plotting against you because of your race. It just, I don't know. It was, I don't respect Terrence and I don't respect his gameplay. I respected the fact that he won, and I respected the fact that he was playing in that moment based off of him being isolated on an island. But just the way that he goes about talking about people, I just do not respect. Number 3, Kyle in the jury house. Indy's reaction, Joseph's reaction. So Joseph coming into the jury house, I love seeing Joseph. I feel like he's a great personality and just an all-around good person. Jasmine coming into the, jury house, she's still limping. Come to find out that Jasmine is the wife of someone, like my buddy that I know. I just played spades with him at his house. He knows the husband of Jasmine. And I was like, ooh, that's kind of too close for comfort. I don't know if I'll ever come across her or around her. I think Jasmine is a beautiful person, like outside of the game, but in the game, I just have no respects for her. And I just hated the way that she treated Taylor and talked poorly about Taylor. And I actually told my buddy this because as soon as he said that, I was like, what? And so I was like, oh, I might have to see this chick, huh? And he was like, what? Like, is she like horrible on the show? I was like, she was the worst. Like, what are you talking about? Like, she was one of the worst. And she was one of the worst to another black woman. And that was my problem with Jasmine. But anyways, her walking in, seeing Indy, I was like, okay, they're still cool. Joseph coming right after. Jasmine and Indy kind of had some like tiff with him because, of everything that played out. But none of that mattered. What mattered was the fact that Joseph wanted somebody from the Brochella people to get Kyle out, and he wanted Kyle to show up right after him. And when Kyle showed up, the reaction and the response that Joseph had was gold, TV gold. And so when they started to sit down and watch what was going on, and Kyle's letting people know what happened, I also appreciate the fact that Joseph was so anti-Turner. Like right now, I'm anti-Turner. Joseph Turner putting up Taylor and all that, like it just wasn't making sense. So I am like appreciative that Joseph was not really here for Turner, because I am not really here for Turner now either. Kyle explaining what happened during the week and Indy's reaction actually made me cry. I cried because all of my life race has been a factor. There are a lot of minority people out there that don't know my experience, and I'm so thankful and grateful that you don't. Like, you should be as well, because having to walk out of, and I could get emotional right now, having to live your life and make decisions based on the color of your skin is just not what I would wish on anyone. So that has been my life, and I understand racism and I know racism. And so, you know, Indy expressing like hurt and aggravation in that moment, I just felt compelled to like cry, because I know what that's like. And you know, Joseph's response to say that, you know, the minority Arab kid was rallying for you the whole time in the backyard, and to find out that you were against me because of me being a minority was like, what? Clearly we didn't see all that took place. Clearly there were counselors and therapists on location to calm people down, because we see Indy's response, and then right away it's like, oh, we love you, Kyle. So I really would have loved to have seen like the gut-wrenching, heart-wrenching moment, the real moment, but whatever, it is what it is. And so we move on past that. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Number 4, Brittany warned Michael all week. All week, Brittany has been spiraling and really conspiring, and you never really knew which side she was on until she went back to Michael and was like, this is what I'm doing, so we're good. And you need to get these people out right now because they're gonna gun for you. She was right. This is the only time that Brittany made sense in her gameplay, because she was right, right? She was right. Nobody, you know, Michael didn't want to believe her. He wanted to stick firm with the whole I promise I won't put you up thing. Okay. Number 5, an all-girl alliance versus an all-guys alliance. I see the girls lasting more than the guys in terms of like their actual alliance, but it is what it is. I don't understand, or I don't see a world in where Monty allows Turner to get to the end. I just don't see it. I just do not see that possible. Why would you want to be sitting next to Turner in the end? What? That doesn't make sense. Monty is now HOH. Monty needs to get Turner out, come hell or high water. Hopefully Turner does not win veto. But Monty just needs to get rid of Turner. That's it. And be left with the girls. He has a way better chance dealing with the girls. What are we talking about here? Number 6, Turner won HOH by guessing. I would have won. So the beam light situation, I won everyone but one. So I was in Michael's spot. Monty's spot. I was in Monty's spot. So what I would have done was I would have won, because I had gotten the one where Monty lost, and it's whatever. You know, Turner ends up becoming HOH on a whim, on a guess, and I was so annoyed. I was annoyed with Monty, and I was annoyed with Taylor. What are we doing here, people? Number 7, Turner puts up Brittany and Alyssa. Not a shocker. Number 8, Monty wins power of veto. I liked that particular comp. It reminded me of the challenge. And I have a question out there. Clearly, y'all know, and I've said this in my other videos, that I haven't started watching Big Brother until like season 19 or 20. So I don't know all of the previous seasons. I do have Paramount Plus. I'm not watching all of the previous seasons. There's no point in my mind. I'm not a fanatic like Michael. So when I made the comment in my last video that Big D was the first black gay man on, on Big Brother, a lot of you were like, what are you talking about? Oops, my bad. My bad. Oops. But I wanted to know if this disc jockey thing was done before when they had to unravel themselves. I thought it was dope. And the fact that the biggest guy, the tallest and biggest guy, got his not out first. What are we talking about here, people? Michael was almost close. He even popped his thing knowing that he had to do something to say, hey, be safe. But he didn't pull it out, and Monty won. Monty won when it counted. It is what it is. And, you know, it was also very interesting when the guys were talking about the girls versus the guys. The guys were like, oh, we have way more wins under our belt. But Monty, up until this point, had only won once. So, like, and you were comparing yourself to Taylor like that was trash, even though, you know, Joseph gave the win to Taylor, come to find out. But still, it's like, you only have one yourself, Monty. What are you saying? Anyways, he wins the veto, and he decides to go after Michael. Made sense. Made perfect sense. Michael's response to this, his energy and emotional response to this was off the charts gold for TV. I was like, what is this man gonna do? He's like pulling a Kylan out of his hat. I really thought that he was gonna spaz out. I had no idea. Like, he was sweating and panting and running off and doing all these kinds of things. I was like, what is going on here? I don't understand, but it was good to watch. It was definitely good to watch. Number 9, Monty looked stressed during the veto ceremony. You can tell his heart was racing. And in that moment, my heart will be racing too. But you gotta do what you gotta do. There's no way that any one of them sitting next to Michael in Final 2 would have won. Turner picks Michael to go and says, sorry, you are the only LGBT member left with me. Michael portrays Brittany when Brittany said nothing about him. Taylor votes to evict Michael. She feels bad. Michael says he had to try, and they were right to get him out. So I saw a lot of behind the clips with Michael getting evicted, and I was wondering to myself, like, is he really like that evil? Like, why is he so like bitchy? Was where my mind was going, right? Because in the clip, I just see him ransacking Brittany and then running out and not saying anything. Which, by the way, I would have left without giving hugs too, as did Terrence. They both were salty leaving. I would have been a saltine cracker leaving. That's fine. But the way he ransacked Brittany, I was just like, wow, like, what, bro? That, to me, I felt like that was unnecessary because you already knew you were going home. Once you hit the block, there's no way on God's green earth that these people will be dumb enough to keep you on the block and bring you back. So you already knew you were going home. Why would you make Brittany cry like that? I thought that was cruel and evil. It also made me think more into the concept of Michael utilizing the race card as a strategy to get Kyle out. I still don't feel as bent out of shape about it as a lot of you do, because at the end of the day, Michael is white. So I don't expect him to understand the black person's plight or minority's plight. Even though he's LGBT, he's white first. So I wouldn't expect him to get all of that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure that in his life, he's never had to deal with the frustrations or the responsibility of having to air anyone out based on race. I'd be very surprised if he's had to do that before. So coupled with that, coupled with the fact that he's white, and then coupled with the fact that he's in this game trying to win $750,000, I get all of that. But the way that he exited made me realize that it was even more so a part of his strategy getting Kyle out the house. Because even though he said as a lawyer he has the ability to remain calm, in that moment he was not calm. He was hyper on the inside, and he was a loose cannon. So I see why people would be upset with him, and I understand that that could have, again, been his motivation in getting Kyle out using the race card. Either way, I didn't expect anything less, and I didn't expect anything more from him because he's not black and he's not a minority. So in my mind, in terms of race, he's not a minority. So I was like, all right, whatever, I don't care. But I wish I would have seen like the argument with the whole LGBT thing, like between Turner and Michael. You know, Turner had his little bit about being bi, and we went through this whole segment about him being bi. I was like, all right, cool. But still, it was just like, I wish I would have seen that. Taylor was really hurt to vote against Michael, but at the end of the day, if she would have went up against him in Final 2, you know, she had a chance, but she wouldn't have won, I don't think. But she did have a chance. She did have a chance. She has more. So now how things are played, if they don't get Turner out, I feel like Turner is beating everyone. I feel like the only person that has a chance against Turner is Monty. But if they don't get Turner out, Turner's beating everyone but Monty. Monty, if he gets Turner out, is beating everyone, whoever he sits next to, final two. The only one that he would have a fight against is Taylor. But Taylor's not winning anything. So it is what it is. Monty has set himself up to be in the final two. It's just depending on how he utilizes this situation going against Turner, because Turner's not, he needs to get Turner out now. The only people in this game that I want to win the $750,000 is Taylor first, Monty second, Brittany and Turner are tied. More so Brittany before Turner, and then Alyssa. I don't like Turner because he went against the Leftover Alliance following Kyle. And I just don't like how he ended up treating Joseph in the end. And I don't like, after coming into Bochella, how he was trying to go after Taylor for no reason. I don't like his character. I feel like his character is wishy-washy, just like Kyle, and how some of y'all are saying just like Michael. He's in the same boat with me. So him getting the $750,000 is just not what I want to see. So I really would love for Taylor to win, Monty to win second, because clearly he's getting here because he needed to get here. He's the one that got Michael out, and you know, it is what it is. So Monty or Taylor for the win. That's just how I feel about it. And yeah, leave your thoughts below. Let me know what you thought about this episode, and who would you want to win? Who do you want to win now? Monty is HOH. Who is he gonna put up? Who do you want to win? Thank you guys for watching, and deuces.